Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be chatting through all of the books that I read in the month of July and the things I got up to. So July was a pretty good reading month, I would say. I managed to finish 7 books in the month, coming to a total of 3,029 pages. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with what I read. I had some really good quality in what I read. So yeah, overall, it was a very solid, good month. It was also a birthday month, so you know, makes it all the better. So yeah, 2 of the books were romance, 1 was a fantasy romance and 4 were fantasy, so a little mixture. All 7 of the books were adult. And then in terms of my star ratings, I had 3 5 stars, 1 4.5 star, 2 4 stars and 1 3 star. So all positive, very high percentage of 5 stars in there. So yeah, really happy with that. I continued in 3 series and I did start 1 new series, which puts my on the go at 30, so it has gone up by 1. We are out of the 20s, but I am very close to finishing a couple of series now, so I think we should be pretty good with getting that back into the 20s. And I did get, you know, up to date on a couple of those series, so although they did manage to move from the on the go section to my up to date section within my spreadsheet. Even if they're still on the go, it's no longer my fault. I'm waiting for the author. All positive there. In terms of things I got up to, as I just mentioned, it was my birthday month. We had a nice birthday weekend in London, and I went into the centre. We went to the theatre, saw the Book of Mormon, had some nice food. It was just nice casual day outs in London. And then a couple of the other things that I got up to, I went up to Switzerland. I went over to Switzerland. I actually went twice. I went once for work at the very beginning of the month, so actually just after my birthday, and I travelled around a little bit with one of my colleagues. We went to the sort of Italian side, so a bit of Lake Maggiore, which is most commonly known as being in Italy. The northern part of it goes into Switzerland, so we went there. And then also to St. Moritz, which I think is mostly known for its glitz and glam in the winter. But yeah, unfortunately you get to go to these beautiful locations and then you don't really get to experience them because you are in hotel meetings. But I managed to get a few sneaky shots of some pictures. So I did that, and then I also went on a holiday there for a few days with my partner. We went to, I guess, nearish to the St. Moritz region. Unfortunately, the weather was quite wet, which is really annoying when you're there to enjoy the scenery and the hiking and being outside in nature and the mountains and the scenery, and the weather didn't really deliver summer in Switzerland weather. It delivered dreary, rainy weather, but we did that. And then I've had a few guests as well in the house, so my mum and my sister came up to visit London. I had my cousin and one of her friends staying this past week, so it's been quite a busy, good, fun month. So yeah, it is quite impressive that I managed to get to a full 7 books, and I did start an 8th as well. So we will just dive into the books. At the start of the month, I was feeling a little bit burnt out on the fantasy. So I was in my little romance kick, things that are a little bit shorter in the 300-page range, speedy, romantic, fun. And I was blitzing through my romances. So I started at the end of June and then continued into July reading my Ali Hazelwood books that I was catching up on. So I read her 2 latest releases that came out in 2025. The first of these being Deep End, which I think I'd actually read quite a chunk of this in June and was just finishing off in July. This one is focused around 2 students at university, one of whom is a competitive diver and the other is a competitive swimmer. And it is their relationship and it all unfolding is a little bit on the steamier side. I did really enjoy looking at that competitive sporting world and seeing Scarlett face her fears, having had an injury and coming back from that and trying to get back to where she was and compete in that space, whilst also figuring out what was going on with her relationship and these 2 characters that needed to probably communicate a little bit better. But I had a lot of great fun with this. I find Ali Hazelwood's books so compulsively readable, so readable. It's just so easy to fly through them and just be completely engulfed in these worlds. So I had a great time with this. And then the one that I actually enjoyed even more than that is Problematic Summer Romance, which is set in the same world as Not in Love, one of her other releases. So we do sort of continue on a little bit from the story that is explored there, but following different characters. So in this one, we are following Maya and Connor, who have a bit of an age gap. So Connor is Maya's brother's best friend, and they are all reconnecting at a wedding. And Maya and Connor have not spoken in quite a while, as they both know that there is feelings between them, but they do not want to address it and cause disruptions within the friendship group. So it's set mostly in Sicily. It is also in two timelines. So the wedding's going on in Sicily, but also how these two started communicating and where their relationship started. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's a lot of fun exploring their dynamic. Again, as I said, Alia Hazelwood, so compulsively readable, so readable. And excited to read her next release, which is Mate in her paranormal romance series. So we'll be reading everything she releases. I then was still feeling a little bit burnt out on the longer books, so I started Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. This is part of her Paladin's quartet. First book, I had a lot of fun with this. So this sort of was trying to ease myself back into fantasy while still leaning on the very much cozy romantic plot. So this is a fantasy. I've cast it as fantasy romance, but I don't feel as though, but it's definitely on the cozier side of fantasy romance, with the romance being such a strong plot point. As we follow Stephen, who is this broken paladin. So he sworn to this god, and at the very beginning of the book, the god dies. And so he just feels that he's quite broken within his soul, and he meets Grace, who is a perfumer. And it is their dynamic coming together as they both of them address their issues, and it's just very cute and wholesome. But I am definitely intrigued to see what's going on within this wider world, because T. Kingfisher has written quite a few books within this world. I had a great time. It was just a lot of fun, not a favourite of all time, but a lot of fun. And then I was like, okay, I think we're back. I think we're back on the fantasy kick. We can get back into the usual. We can get back into the bread and butter of my reading taste. And I read The Dark Mirror by Samantha Shannon, which is the 5th book in the Bone Season series and the final one that is published. So I read both this and The Pale Dreamer this month. So The Pale Dreamer is a prequel to the Bone Season, following Paige when she's 16 and she's just getting inducted into the criminal underworld. That one, I think it was fine. I think I gave it 3 stars. It's an 80-page novella. It's fine, it's fun, it's nothing absolutely groundbreaking, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It just didn't give loads of extra, really. So I picked that up. But then one of the highlights was The Dark Mirror. I just love this series. The first book, we're following our main character Paige, who, as I just mentioned, is part of the criminal underworld within London. It's set in the 2050s, and people can have powers or clairvoyance, which means that they can sort of touch the ether or the spirit world in some way. Paige has quite a rare power, and she's able to disconnect her spirit from her body and go into other people's. And at the beginning of the first book, she ends up getting arrested for this because clairvoyance is criminalised, and she thinks this is going to mean that she's going to get put to death. It doesn't. In the end, it means that she gets sent to Oxford, where everything gets revealed about the world and things that are going on, and it really opens everything up for the rest of the series. I've been reading through the series gradually over this year. I had read books 1 and 2 previously about 10 years ago, and have now just been on my reread journey, and then getting up to date with this. And 2014 me knew what she was doing when she picked up this series, because I've continued to absolutely love it, and pretty much every book has been 5 stars, because I just love the characters, the dynamics, the plotting, the plot beats that we're going through, the traumas that the characters are going through, just everything about it. I do feel like I'm in a good place. Book 4 ended on quite a cliffhanger. At least this one has ended it's obviously not satisfying, because we're definitely in the middle of a series, but it's not as traumatizing as the book 4's ending. So I would highly recommend the series if you haven't read it. I am now waiting for book 6, which I know Samantha Shannon has been working on, so hopefully that will come out next year, maybe, fingers crossed. And it's a 7-book series in total, but I've had so much fun with this, so much fun. and I love exploring all the different locations that we get to go to within this, and they feel so well researched and just love it. And then the other series that I continued in and have got up to date on is the Sansi series by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the second book, The Ashfire King. Once again, I really enjoyed this one. I don't think I loved it quite as much as the first one. There were some bits that felt a little bit plodding along, but overall I had a really good time with it. This is a multi-perspective Middle Eastern inspired fantasy story. We follow like jinn, and lots of the tales from the Arabian Nights are interwoven throughout this, and so I really just enjoy seeing those elements come up. Like there was a magic carpet in this. I was like, oh, a magic carpet. Like those small little things just bring me joy. So I really enjoy the way that those are interwoven in. We follow Luli, who is a merchant. She trades in jinn artifacts with her jinn bodyguard. We follow Mason, who is one of the princes of this world, and we follow Aisha, who is like a bodyguard within the army structure. And at the beginning of the first book, Luli ends up getting captured by the king, and her options are death or going off on this adventure to source him this jinn artifact of a magical lamp. Mason and this bodyguard figure end up going with her on this quest. But things, go a little bit awry. And the second book, we sort of have this different location. I really enjoy how we explore the relationships between the humans within this world and the jinn, because they have been at war for many years, and seeing that dynamic and what has led them to a certain place. The way that's all like interweaved together. I really enjoyed the multi perspectives. I enjoyed the setting within this and what we were working towards, and seeing what all our different characters were going through. I have been enjoying the very tiniest element of romance, like tiny, like the subplot of subplots that slow burn, and so tiny that it's not really anything, but I think something will happen in that third book. Yeah, I've been having a good time with this, excited to see where the third book goes, because I'm very happy. I feel like where this is plotted to, I've definitely been enjoying it, and I'm excited to see how it's all going to conclude, but I don't know when that third book will be coming out, sadly. And then the final one that I finished was my audiobook, which I was just reading sort of slowly and sporadically throughout the month, and that is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. So as you know, I have been reading the Throne of Glass series this year, and I am now approaching the end. We are getting close. So Tower of Dawn is the 6th book within this series. This one is predominantly focused around a character called Kale, and it sort of steps away a little bit from some of our core characters that we see in the rest of the books. I think that's why it's a very blue cover and steps away from the traditional white. But yeah, this predominantly focuses around Kale and his journey and what he's going through within this book. I really enjoy this. I really do enjoy this one. Like, I know this one has some mixed reception because we're not following our main leads, but I feel like if you know that going in, I had a great time. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, highly recommend this whole series in general. If you enjoy like a fantasy romance, then you should be reading Throne of Glass, because it is just like the bread and butter of it. And yeah, this was a great reread, great time. Just a great time. These audiobooks have been peak. I had also, within the month, made a dent within Lady of Embers, the 4th book within the Lady of Darkness series by Melissa K. Rorich. So we'll be continuing this one into August. Obviously, it's the 2nd of August today. I will be continuing this. I am currently 232 pages in, so not made too much headway. A little bit of headway, considering I've been reading this for like a week. It's just the reading this week has been a little bit slow, and as I've been so busy, but we are making some progress on this one. And this again is a sort of fantasy romance series that definitely pulls from influence of Sarah J. Maas and the Throne of Glass and ACOTAR series, so really leans into that. But I've been having a good time with it and looking forward to seeing where this one goes, and then concluding the series hopefully in maybe September. There we go, that is everything that I read in the month of July, plus some of my slight plans for August, which you will have seen even more of within my August TBR that was uploaded last week. But if you want to check that out, I will link it and put it on the screen. and let me know how your reading in the month of July went and how your August is going, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!